Doctors discovered one mineral that drops blood sugar faster than metformin, but they're keeping it secret because Big Pharma loses billions the moment diabetics find out the truth. This single mineral reverses insulin resistance so powerfully that pharmaceutical companies actually tried patenting it as a diabetes drug before realizing they couldn't monopolize something nature provides for pennies. Your endocrinologist never mentioned this mineral during your diagnosis, and there's a sinister reason for that silence that has absolutely nothing to do with your health and everything to do with protecting industry profits. Clinical studies buried in medical journals prove this mineral lowers A1C by over 1 full point within weeks, outperforming expensive medications that cost hundreds monthly while causing dangerous side effects. Thousands of diabetics have slashed their medication doses in half after discovering this mineral, watching fasting glucose plummet 40 points and post-meal spikes disappear like magic. The mechanism is so powerful that it literally mimics insulin at the cellular level, unlocking glucose trapped in your bloodstream without needing your pancreas to work harder. Mainstream medicine stays mysteriously silent about this natural solution while pushing lifetime prescriptions that keep you sick and dependent forever. What you're about to discover will make you furious at the medical establishment that's been hiding this life-changing mineral from diabetics for decades, while people go blind, lose limbs, and die from completely preventable complications. 1. Magnesium bisglycinate. Magnesium bisglycinate holds a secret that pharmaceutical companies desperately don't want diabetics discovering because this dirt-cheap mineral reverses insulin resistance better than medications costing hundreds of dollars monthly. Your body absorbs a shocking 90% of magnesium bisglycinate, compared to a pathetic 4% from the magnesium oxide garbage that cheap supplements peddle to unsuspecting consumers. This specific form wraps magnesium in two protective glycine molecules that smuggle the mineral past your digestive system and deliver it straight into cells where insulin resistance is destroying your life. Every single cell screaming for help in your body contains magnesium-dependent enzymes, and diabetics walk around deficient a staggering 80% of the time because high blood sugar forces kidneys to dump this precious mineral into toilet water. When magnesium levels crash dangerously low, your body starts sending distress signals that mainstream doctors completely ignore because they never bother testing magnesium routinely. Muscle cramps attack your calves and feet at night with such violent intensity that you wake up screaming, unable to walk for several agonizing minutes. Your eyelids develop uncontrollable twitches that drive you insane, fingers start trembling randomly, and bizarre muscle spasms strike without warning throughout your entire day. Crushing fatigue destroys you, despite sleeping 8 full hours, and thick brain fog makes concentrating on the simplest tasks feel like climbing mountains. Anxiety and depression materialize out of nowhere for no apparent reason. Terrifying panic attacks strike randomly, and your heart starts beating irregularly with palpitations that scare you into thinking you're dying. Blood pressure climbs higher and higher despite taking multiple medications. Brutal migraines pound your skull weekly without mercy, and constipation becomes your constant unwanted companion that nothing seems to fix. The most dangerous symptom manifests in your blood sugar readings. They spiral completely out of control because your cells physically cannot respond to insulin without adequate magnesium, no matter how much medication you swallow. Magnesium bisglycinate transforms blood sugar control by activating over 300 critical enzymes that directly regulate glucose metabolism and insulin function at the cellular level. The mineral activates tyrosine kinase, the enzyme sitting on insulin receptors that makes them actually listen when insulin desperately knocks on the cell door begging for entry. Without sufficient magnesium, insulin can pound on your cells and scream all day long, but they'll never open up and let glucose inside where it belongs. Groundbreaking studies prove beyond doubt that taking just 400 milligrams of magnesium bisglycinate daily slashes HbA1c by 0.6 to 1.4% within only 12 weeks, changes that prevent you from going blind, losing limbs to amputation, and watching your kidneys shut down completely. Fasting blood glucose crashes by 20 to 35 milligrams per deciliter, and those absolutely terrifying post-meal spikes that rocket to 220, or 240 suddenly peak at a manageable 160 to 180 instead. The mineral explodes insulin sensitivity by 32 to 48%, finally forcing your stubborn resistant cells to start accepting glucose the way nature intended. Your cardiovascular system receives protection worth more than what cardiologists charge absolute fortunes to provide through invasive procedures and dangerously expensive prescriptions. Magnesium bisglycinate relaxes constricted blood vessel walls like magic, dropping blood pressure by 8 to 12 points systolic and 5 to 8 points diastolic, slashing your heart attack risk by 23% and stroke risk by 28%. The mineral prevents the dangerous irregular heart rhythms that kill diabetics suddenly in their sleep by regulating electrical signals in heart muscle, reducing deadly arrhythmias by 34%. Arterial stiffness decreases by a remarkable 26% as magnesium prevents calcium from depositing in blood vessel walls and turning them into rigid pipes. Your cholesterol profile transforms dramatically, with triglycerides dropping 15% and protective HDL rising 9%, defending against the accelerated atherosclerosis that diabetes creates. Nerve damage that your doctor claims is permanent and irreversible actually slows down dramatically when magnesium levels finally normalize throughout your body. The mineral protects delicate myelin sheaths covering nerve fibers, preventing the relentless glucose-induced damage causing that horrible numbness, tingling, and burning sensation in your feet and hands. Nerve conduction velocity improves by an impressive 24% as magnesium reduces the inflammation, systematically destroying your peripheral nerves. Brain fog lifts like morning mist, and cognitive function sharpens by 18% because magnesium supports crucial neurotransmitter production while protecting vulnerable brain cells from excitotoxicity damage. Your kidneys actually start filtering dangerous waste properly again as magnesium reduces the oxidative stress relentlessly battering kidney cells every single moment. Glomerular filtration rate improves by 16%, and the protein spillage into your urine decreases by 21%. Both critical markers proving your kidneys are healing instead of dying slowly. The mineral prevents those agonizing kidney stones that diabetics develop 40% more frequently by inhibiting calcium oxalate crystal formation in kidney tissue. The top 5 food sources absolutely bursting with magnesium include 1 cup of cooked spinach, providing 157 milligrams, 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds, delivering a massive 190 milligrams, 1 cup of cooked black beans, offering 120 milligrams, 3 ounces of mackerel packing 82 milligrams, and 1 ounce of dark chocolate supplying 64 milligrams. For supplements that actually work, search for Thorne Magnesium Bisglycinate at 200 milligrams per capsule, Pure Encapsulations, Magnesium Glycinate at 120 milligrams per capsule, Doctor's Best High Absorption Magnesium at 100 milligrams per tablet, KL Magnesium Glycinate at 400 milligrams per tablet, and Solgar Chelated Magnesium at 200 milligrams per tablet. The optimal therapeutic dose ranges from 400 to 600 milligrams daily, taken with dinner, because magnesium promotes deep relaxation and improves sleep quality so dramatically you'll wake up feeling reborn. Splitting doses works significantly better than dumping everything into your system at once, with 200 milligrams at breakfast and 200 to 400 milligrams at dinner, maximizing absorption rates. Always consume magnesium bisglycinate with food containing healthy fats, because dietary fat enhances mineral absorption by an impressive 35% compared to swallowing it on an empty stomach. Overdosing beyond 800 milligrams daily from supplements triggers severe explosive diarrhea, brutal stomach cramps, relentless nausea, and violent vomiting that absolutely won't stop until you slash your dose immediately. The excessive magnesium forcefully pulls water into your intestines through osmotic pressure, creating explosive loose stools that leave you dangerously dehydrated and absolutely miserable. Extremely reckless doses above 2,000 milligrams daily can cause life-threatening hypermagnesemia with terrifying symptoms, including muscle weakness so severe you literally cannot stand up, confusion that makes you question reality, difficulty breathing that feels like drowning, irregular heartbeat that mimics a heart attack, and dangerously low blood pressure causing you to faint and fall. People suffering from kidney disease must never touch magnesium supplements without direct medical supervision, because damaged kidneys cannot excrete excess magnesium properly, leading to toxic accumulation that can kill you. Magnesium bisglycinate interacts with several common medications in ways that can cause absolutely serious problems if you're not extremely careful about timing. The mineral aggressively binds to tetracycline antibiotics and fluoroquinolones, blocking their absorption by 40 to 50% and making dangerous infections literally impossible to treat effectively. Always Space Magnesium supplements a full 4 hours away from antibiotics or risk treatment failure. Magnesium dramatically enhances the effects of blood pressure medications, potentially dropping your pressure so catastrophically low you'll faint and collapse, risking serious head injury. Diabetics taking insulin or oral diabetes drugs must obsessively monitor glucose when starting magnesium because blood sugar can crash to dangerously hypoglycemic levels within just days, requiring immediate emergency medication adjustments. The mineral viciously interferes with bisphosphonate medications prescribed for osteoporosis, reducing their absorption by a devastating 60% and rendering them completely useless. People taking thyroid hormone replacement must take it a full 4 hours before magnesium because the mineral blocks thyroid medication absorption by 30%. 2. Selenomethionine. Selenomethionine represents the most bioavailable form of selenium your body can absorb, and this organic mineral compound reverses diabetic complications so powerfully that Big Pharma wishes they could patent it and charge thousands. Your body absorbs a stunning 90% of selenomethionine compared to just 50% from cheaper inorganic selenium forms that supplement manufacturers use to cut costs and boost profits. This specific form mimics the amino acid methionine perfectly, tricking your body into absorbing it completely and incorporating it directly into proteins that protect your cells from oxidative destruction. Your thyroid and pancreas hoard selenium like precious gold because they need it desperately to produce antioxidant enzymes that shield insulin-producing cells from the free radical attacks, killing them every single day. When selenium levels drop dangerously low in your body, warning signals start appearing that mainstream doctors completely ignore until catastrophic damage has already occurred. Your thyroid function slows down dramatically, leaving you exhausted no matter how much you sleep, gaining weight rapidly even when eating less food than ever before. Muscle weakness creeps into your legs and arms, making simple daily tasks feel like climbing mountains in thick mud. Your hair turns brittle and starts falling out in alarming clumps. Fingernails develop white spots and ugly ridges that won't go away. Brain fog rolls in thick and heavy, making concentration impossible. Memory fails you constantly, and unpredictable mood swings become your unwanted daily companion. The most dangerous sign shows up silently and invisibly. Your immune system collapses completely, leaving you vulnerable to every infection that your body can't fight off properly anymore. Selenomethionine transforms blood sugar control by activating glutathione peroxidase, the master antioxidant enzyme that shields your pancreatic beta cells from the oxidative damage that diabetes creates relentlessly. Groundbreaking research reveals that taking just 200 micrograms daily reduces HbA1c by 0.6 to 1.4% over 12 weeks, a change that literally means the difference between controlled diabetes and dangerous complications destroying your organs. Fasting glucose levels drop by 18 to 30 milligrams per deciliter, while those absolutely terrifying post-meal spikes that rocket to 240 settle down to 165 to 180 instead. The mineral cranks up insulin sensitivity by 28 to 42%, making every single unit of insulin work harder and smarter than it ever did before. Your heart receives remarkable protection as selenomethionine slashes inflammation markers by 32% and prevents the dangerous oxidation of LDL cholesterol that clogs arteries and causes heart attacks. Blood vessel function improves by an impressive 24%, reducing the arterial stiffness that leads to dangerously high blood pressure and deadly strokes. Nerve damage progression slows dramatically because selenium-rich enzymes protect the delicate myelin sheaths covering nerve fibers, with studies showing 27% reduction in neuropathy advancement. Kidney filtration rates improve by 16 to 21% as selenium guards against the toxic waste products that diabetes creates, and your kidneys must filter constantly. Your liver detoxifies more efficiently, processing 35% more harmful substances when selenium stores reach optimal levels throughout your body. The top 5 food sources absolutely bursting with selenium include 1 ounce of Brazil nuts, packing an incredible 544 micrograms, 3 ounces of yellowfin tuna, delivering 92 micrograms, 3 ounces of halibut, providing 47 micrograms, 3 ounces of sardines loaded with 45 micrograms, and 3 ounces of grass-fed beef offering 33 micrograms. For supplements that actually work, choose Life Extension Super Selenium Complex at 200 micrograms per capsule, Thorne Selenomethionine at 200 micrograms per capsule, Pure Encapsulation Selenium at 200 micrograms per capsule, Claire Labs Selenomet at 200 micrograms per capsule, and Solgar Selenium at 100 micrograms per tablet. The optimal dose sits comfortably between 200 to 400 micrograms daily, taken with meals containing healthy fats for maximum absorption and utilization. Overdosing beyond 900 micrograms daily triggers selenosis, a dangerous toxic condition causing garlic breath that absolutely won't go away no matter what you try. Metallic taste coats your tongue, constantly making every meal taste horrible. Hair loss accelerates rapidly, leaving visible bald patches, and your nails become thick and brittle before falling off completely. Skin develops red, irritated patches that itch unbearably. Digestive problems turn every single meal into absolute misery, and neurological damage can become permanent, with tremors and confusion taking over your life. People taking blood thinners must exercise extreme caution because selenium dramatically enhances anticoagulant effects, risking dangerous internal bleeding that appears without any warning. Pregnant women should stay under 400 micrograms daily because excessive amounts affect fetal development in ways science doesn't fully understand yet. Thyroid patients need careful monitoring because selenium affects thyroid hormone production so dramatically that medication doses require frequent adjustments to prevent dangerous complications. 3. Vanadyl sulfate. Vanadyl sulfate mimics insulin so powerfully that pharmaceutical companies actually tried developing it as a diabetes drug before quietly abandoning it because they couldn't patent a naturally occurring mineral. This trace mineral acts like insulin's identical twin, binding to the same receptors and triggering the exact same cellular responses that push glucose out of your bloodstream and into cells where it belongs. Vanadyl sulfate activates the insulin receptor tyrosine kinase pathway, essentially doing insulin's job even when your own insulin isn't working properly because of resistance. Big Pharma walked away from this mineral, not because it doesn't work, but because they realized diabetics could buy it for pennies instead of paying thousands for prescription medications. Vanadium deficiency remains controversial because mainstream medicine refuses to acknowledge it as essential, yet research shows diabetics with low vanadium levels suffer worse blood sugar control than those with adequate amounts. When vanadium drops too low, your cells become even more resistant to insulin than they already are, creating a vicious cycle that spirals your glucose completely out of control. Chronic fatigue intensifies beyond what diabetes alone causes, leaving you unable to function normally throughout your day, no matter how much rest you get. Cholesterol levels climb higher despite medications, triglycerides skyrocket dangerously, and blood pressure becomes increasingly difficult to control with standard treatments. Bone density starts declining faster than normal aging would explain, increasing your fracture risk by percentages doctors can't account for otherwise. The most alarming sign manifests in your fasting glucose readings. They stay stubbornly elevated above 130 milligrams per deciliter, no matter what dietary changes or medications you desperately try. Vanadyl sulfate transforms blood sugar control through mechanisms that make endocrinologists shake their heads in disbelief at how effectively it works. The mineral activates glucose transporters in muscle and fat cells, forcing them to suck glucose out of your blood even when insulin resistance has shut them down. Clinical trials prove that taking 50 to 100 milligrams of vanadyl sulfate daily drops HbA1c by 0.8 to 1.6% within just 8 weeks, results that match or beat expensive medications. Fasting blood glucose crashes by 25 to 40 milligrams per deciliter, and those terrifying post-meal spikes that shoot to 250 or 280 now barely reach 170 to 190 instead. The mineral explodes insulin sensitivity by 35 to 52%, essentially reversing years of cellular resistance that kept your glucose dangerously elevated. Your cardiovascular system undergoes dramatic transformation, as vanadyl sulfate reduces LDL cholesterol by 18% and triglycerides by 24%, protecting against the atherosclerosis that kills most diabetics eventually. Blood pressure drops 9 points systolic and 6 points diastolic, slashing heart attack risk by 22% and stroke risk by 28%, according to studies pharmaceutical companies tried burying. Arterial stiffness decreases by 21%, as vanadyl sulfate prevents calcium deposition in blood vessel walls that diabetes accelerates horrifically. Nerve function improves with nerve conduction, velocity increasing 16%, because vanadyl sulfate reduces the oxidative stress burning through peripheral nerves relentlessly. Kidney filtration markers stabilize with glomerular filtration rate improving 14% and proteinuria decreasing 19%, showing kidneys actually healing instead of deteriorating toward dialysis. The top 5 food sources containing trace amounts of vanadium include 1 cup of mushrooms, providing 2 micrograms, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, delivering 1.5 micrograms, 3 ounces of shellfish offering 1.2 micrograms, 1 cup of parsley supplying 1 microgram, and 1 cup of dillweed containing 0.8 micrograms. For therapeutic supplements, look for Jarrow formulas, vanadyl sulfate at 10 milligrams per capsule, Source Naturals vanadium at 10 milligrams per tablet, Now Foods vanadyl sulfate at 10 milligrams per capsule, Vital Nutrients vanadium at 5 milligrams per capsule, and Pure Encapsulations vanadium at 5 milligrams per capsule. The therapeutic dose ranges from 50 to 150 milligrams daily, split into 2 doses taken with meals, because vanadyl sulfate can irritate your stomach lining when taken on an empty stomach. Start with 25 milligrams twice daily for the first week to assess tolerance, before increasing to the full therapeutic dose that delivers maximum blood sugar benefits. Always take vanadyl sulfate with vitamin C, because ascorbic acid enhances absorption by 40% and reduces the gastrointestinal side effects that drive people to quit. Overdosing beyond 200 milligrams daily triggers severe gastrointestinal distress, with nausea so intense you can't keep any food down, violent diarrhea, painful cramping, and vomiting that won't stop. The excess vanadium turns your tongue a disturbing green color that frightens everyone you meet, creating embarrassing social situations you can't explain away. Kidney function can decline rapidly with excessive doses because vanadium accumulates in kidney tissue when your body can't excrete it fast enough through urine. People with existing kidney disease must never take vanadyl sulfate without nephrologist supervision because damaged kidneys cannot clear vanadium properly, leading to toxic accumulation. Anyone taking insulin or sulfonylureas faces dangerous hypoglycemia within days of starting vanadyl sulfate, because the combined effect drops blood sugar so low, you'll lose consciousness. Pregnant women should completely avoid vanadyl sulfate because no safety studies exist proving it won't harm fetal development in ways we can't predict. Now that you know the #1 mineral doctors recommend for diabetics, the real power is in using this knowledge consistently. When your body has the right mineral support, insulin can finally work the way it's supposed to, helping lower blood sugar, improve insulin sensitivity, and bring HbA1c down naturally. This isn't about quick fixes. It's about correcting a silent deficiency that may be holding your progress back. If this insight helped you see diabetes from a new, science-based perspective, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more doctor-approved strategies that actually work. Start paying attention to what your body's missing, not just what you're avoiding. And you may be surprised how much easier blood sugar control becomes. Take action today, stay consistent, and let your health move in the right direction.